Okie dokie, artichoke. It's time for Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday.
The North Texas Honda dealers want to help you score on award-winning Hondas like the rugged and reliable 2023 Ridgeline.
Okay.
Stop by your Helpful Honda dealer today or visit ntxhondadealers.com to learn more.
We love you, Honda. Thank you very much, North Texas Honda Dealers, ntxhondadealers.com. ndxhonda.com? What is it?
ntxhondadealers.com.
ntxhondadealers.com. We love you very much. Also, we've almost certainly moved into 2024 Ridgeline, right? I want that 2024 Ridgeline.
Correct. I agree.
Want it for free.
Yeah,
That
correct.
would be awesome. I'll get Honda tattooed. Let's go, guys. It's Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday. We're answering your questions. We do thank you for getting your questions in last week, or rather on Wednesday. It was earlier in the week. For Helpful Honda Mailbag Friday, we've gathered them up into your. Do you have your bushel basket?
Mm-hmm.
You have your bushel basket.
The bushel's ready.
So let's see what's in the bushel basket. Pickle, did anyone ask any questions?
Yes. Do you think Melissa Cardinals can make it to state? I mean, we rank them as the number one team for a reason.
It's funny because we haven't talked about Melissa in a minute because
They've just kind of been dominating people.
in the same way that like we haven't talked about like Alito in a minute. They have a big game this week against Burleson Centennial. Yeah, Carthage. Or these teams that are at the top that are just kind of known commodity. Benjamin, right? We haven't talked about Benjamin. I'm trying to think of like the teams that are probably like the most locked and loaded number one teams. Melissa's going to be up there because one of the things that we probably haven't talked a ton about is the fact that in 5A Division 2, you've got Melissa at the top, and then it's kind of a free-for-all for second place, right? Right now, the second-ranked team in 5A Division 2 is Frisco Emerson, okay? Good team, huge test tonight, right, against Argyle. Montgomery Lake Creek. Fun team. Not sure that defense is going to hold up. I have questions about them. Right, Midlothian Heritage, really good team. Maybe I could see that. Got some playmakers. Texas High. Like, there is no... Melissa has right now not only the number one spot, but also the consistency and the elite wins that they've got. I mean, this is still a team that's got a 36-point win over Argyle, that's got a 30-point win over China Spring, and it's got a 21-point win over Terrell. Like, those are the three best teams they've played. And by the way, now we're all kind of gearing up for Week 11. They take on Lovejoy. Lovejoy presently ranked number 8, right? That'll be a big game. But what if they go out there and they smash them?
And if you wanted to ask me right now, I would project that to be the outcome of the game.
I would at least pick them to win, and I'd probably pick them to win by
2 touchdowns,
7 to 14 points. Yeah. Like a game where they are the clear favorite. So yeah, like right now, Melissa has to be locked and loaded. I think your favorite to win 5A Division 2. Now they're gonna have to go through a difficult region. They'll have to get by South Oak Cliff, a team we haven't even mentioned yet, but they'll have to get by South Oak Cliff. They'll have to get by, believe Frisco Emerson. Frisco Emerson, Region 2? That sounds right.
Yeah, I think so.
He said confidently. No, they're District 3, so they're Region 1. They'll have to get through a difficult region that includes Lovejoy, South Oak Cliff, right? But, like, it's right there for them. Like, to me, they came into the year talking state or bust, and I think that is still the situation. It's state or bust. If they don't win state, it would be disappointing, I think, for them internally. So, there you go. I think that they right now are the clear favorites of 5A Division 2. What's next, Pickle?
Let's transition to who makes it out of Region 4 and 4A Division 1.
Oh, jeez. This is the mystery region. And what's funny is, like, so Region 4 or 4A Division 1, Region 1, right? So we're talking about 4A Division 1, Region 1. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh no, Region 4.
Region 4 of 4A Division 1.
Okay. 4A Division 1, Region 1. I mean, it probably has to be Bernie.
Yeah.
Right? Bernie is the state runner-up. They're the defending regional champ.
How's Cal Allen doing?
They've got a big game this week against Alice. I want to see what happens when they play Alice.
They're in the
mix. Davenport is probably in the mix. But there's a couple of teams now.
Lampasas hasn't looked terrible.
They haven't looked bad.
Lampasas
is dangerous. There's one team that I would keep an eye on.
Pleasanton. No. Shout out Will Wilkerson, our digital social media.
So Lampasas has the one loss to Wimberley, but I don't know if you necessarily bury them for that.
Wimberley's
really
fifth ranked team.
Really good. The team that I'm keeping an eye on, and I'm not throwing dirt on, is Port Lavaca Calhoun. Okay?
Yeah.
Calhoun is 3-3. Okay? They have losses to Stafford. They have losses to Yoakum and Gregory Portland. Okay? Now, Yoakum's a state-ranked 3A team. It's a 3A team, but it's state-ranked 3A team. Stafford, it's week 1. I don't know how much you do. And they lose to Gregory Portland, who's a 5A team. They also have a history of doing this. They're also that team. They're one of those teams that, like, always shows up in the third round of the playoffs with 4 losses or something like that. So I'm not throwing dirt on Port Lavaca Calhoun. Right now, the pick is Bernie.
Yes.
I think it has to
It's Bernie's to lose.
It's Bernie's to lose. I think that's a great way to put it. It's Bernie's to lose. I would say, and they're probably, I mean, they're going to finish 9-1 because I think they're going to romp through their district. They're going to finish 9-1, and then it's going to be theirs to lose. But yeah, I would say Bernie's got to be the favorite there. What's next, Pickle?
What does the rest of the season for Longview seem to look like? And hey, Taylor Tatum, congrats on being the TD leader.
Yeah, he did, as Greg Powers mentioned on our Wednesday show, he became the Longview touchdown record holder.
Which is just crazy.
Which is crazy to think about, considering
it's not
Longview's
like
been playing for 100,000 years.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's not like it's Shadow Creek and you've been playing for like 7 seasons, you know?
So, I think Longview's going to finish 9-1. I think they're past I think they've got one more game that I will have an eye on.
McKinney
and that is
North.
Next week at McKinney North.
Yeah.
And that the reason is it's on the road at McKinney North.
And
Going to the same barn where they've already lost a game.
Exactly. On top of the fact that then they also had to make the trip down to play Lancaster, to play at Forney. Like, they've been traveling.
Home Longview and road Longview, I think, are different things. I really do. And I think that they feel it. Going to McKinney North will not be fun. They will be favored. They will be the team to beat in that game. But, like, that's a challenge.
Well, heck,
the rest of their district, they should win.
That could probably be for the district championship right there. McKinney North is 5-1 and 3-0 in district.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, if McKinney North beats Lufkin this week, they got to go to Lufkin, which is no fun.
No.
But if they go to Lufkin and get a win, then next week sets up what is going to be essentially a district championship game. Now McKinney North, I want to say they've still got to play Forney, like Forney can do the 3-way tie thing. But I would say that right now we're careening towards a district championship game between McKinney North and Longview in McKinney on is that a Thursday night affair? No, it's a Friday. It's a Friday. Friday night, big game. Right now, Longview, though, I mean, they're the number 2 team in the state for a reason. I think they're really good. I think that defense is elite. And I think it's going to hold them in games. Can Andrew Tutt do enough? That's going to be the question all year. It's on him. I hate to put it on one player, but it's about Andrew Tutt. So, yeah. What's next, Pickle?
Kind of a twofer here. What databases do you use for stats and records such as Honeygrove shutouts? And then when was the last time a team didn't allow a point in the regular season?
I've got my sources for we got the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Archives that we dive into as far as that's concerned. As far as the last time a team didn't allow a point in the regular season, boy, I would need to look that up. I don't know. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I don't think I can find it real quick. That is it's a fascinating question because you're right. Honeygrove, no points, no punts. They have not allowed a point yet in the season. I will tell you, and I don't mind telling you guys this, that our friend Jerry Forrest, our partner Jerry Forrest, we rely on his database at pigskinprep.com a ton. He's got a ton of points or a ton of stuff out there. So make sure you go check out pigskinprep.com if you want to just dive into data and subscribe to his website, by the way, absolutely. So for Honeygrove, they're going to take on Quinlan Bowls this week. They're at Quinlan Bowls. They should win that game. The questions are going to be more about like do they punt or do they score, give points. Next week, they take on Cooper, and it gets real in a hurry. It gets real in a hurry. That'll be the best team they've played by a factor of 3.
Yeah.
That's the best team they've played. And so we'll find out next week about them. Are they just like a fun team that got a favorable schedule and like ran up like an interesting record, or are they for real? Because it's probably going to be a matchup. Who's Cooper? They've already beat Wolf City, so it should be. Yeah, they're open this week, which bad. I think that's bad news for Honeygrove.
Yep.
Not here nor there, but they're open this week, so they're going to come in. It's going to be a matchup of unbeatens between 6-0 Honeygrove and actually Cooper's got a loss. Cooper's got that loss earlier this year to non-district loss to Hooks. That's right. So yeah, we'll find out a lot more about Honeygrove next week. There's not a ton to take from them this week. What's next, Pickle?
The answer to this question now is probably no for both of us, but go back in your Wayback Machine when you first started. Are there any coaches that absolutely scare you to interview? And I don't think I've ever felt like scared, but there's definitely been some like times of, all right, I got to be like Johnny on the spot with this coach because they're very precise. Like that's what I always felt like.
Gary Joseph. First time I interviewed Gary Joseph, I was terrified.
Yeah.
Because to be very clear, he's a very nice guy.
Yeah,
he's a very nice guy,
and
we now have a nice relationship.
Your room for error is like,
but he's
negative.
He's about his business. He's about his business.
When Terry Gamble was at Allen, that was another one that you had to be it was my favorite thing because he would go directly to the locker room, and there was one time I looked at my cameraman Marcus and I was like, all right, you get on one side of him, I'll get on the other, and we are going to stop him and be like, Coach, I got to get an interview. And you're doing
like the police chase thing where you get in front of him.
Yeah, literally, we stopped, and I was like, Coach, we got to grab you for an interview. And he stopped, and he smiled, and then after that, the next interview, he came to me and brought his players. So it was one of those things that some of them, you just have to show them, like, hey, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm here. I'm ready to go.
And I think you bring up a really interesting point, which is, if you only deal with coaches on game day, your relationship with them is not going to be good.
Yep.
Because coaches on game day can be grouchy. Right?
Rightfully so.
Right. This is their business.
Or focus.
This is their job. And so if you're dealing with them throughout the course of the day, but I know when you are doing your stuff for Bally, I know we like to do it here at Dave Campbell's, of like just checking in and talking with coaches and getting on the phone and chatting with them.
That was the thing. Like
99.9% of them are great guys.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Just like,
the key, and I'll just give you the keys to the factory here, if you will, but the keys to the success is call them during the week, have a good conversation with them. Don't waste too much of their time. Just be punctual and do that. When you get to the stadium, go up, shake their hand, introduce yourself so they remember what you look like.
What you're wearing.
And what you're wearing. And so that way when they see you and tell them, hey, if you're leading at halftime, I'm going to interview you. Or if you win after the game, I'm going to interview you. And guess what? They see you standing there, they pop right in, and then they go. And it's like a very smooth process. But so many people just don't reach out, and then they try to chase down the coach after their 7th interview. They don't want to talk
Now,
anymore.
The college side's interesting. The college side's interesting. Interviewing Gary Patterson was always a challenge.
Yeah.
It was always a challenge. He was very particular.
But that's why you do the exact same process with the SID. You check in with the SID throughout the week.
Because he's the gatekeeper.
You check in with that because the SID brings them to you. It's just like at state championships. Like, you've got to have the right person to bring the people to you.
I think I've told this story before, but we've all slept. This was back, what year was this? This is knowable. It was when Yoakum made it to the state championship game. This was in 2016. They lost to Mineola. And it was a bit of a surprising run for Yoakum. There were 2 real surprises at the state championship games, kind of both in 3A with Yoakum and bowling, both big surprises. But Yoakum was there, and I believe I don't know when I ran into Coach Bo Robinson, Yoakum, but it was right before the game, and I talked. I don't think I'd ever talked with him at that point. So, like, red flag number one. I don't think I'd ever talk. Maybe I'd talk with him once, but, like, I hadn't really talked with him. This is 2016. And I went up to him. I was wearing my suit from ballet and stuff like that. I went up, and he was getting ready to go out on the field with his players. And I went up, and I shook his hand. I said, hey, Coach, Greg Tepper, Dave Campbell's text. Well, congratulations on being here. He's like, hey, thanks. And I'm like, I got to be honest, like, I really didn't think you guys were going to be here. And he looked me dead in the eyes. He goes, guess it doesn't really matter what you think. And I was like,
correct.
Now, me and Bo, to be clear, like, I want to say I saw him at, like, coaching school the next year, and we laughed about it and stuff like that. And, like, we have a very good relationship. But I remember that moment. I was like, oh, you're not a fan.
Another one.
And to be clear, there are definitely coaches out there who do not like me.
Yes.
Like, that's not – I'm not saying I have a 100% approval rating.
Right.
But, like, that was one where it was like, oh, you don't like me. I need to walk away. He's also, like, I want to say he's a former NFL player. He's a big dude. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to walk away.
The funniest ones for me were the ones that off the camera, they're super goofy and they're funny and stuff, and they'll joke around with you, and then when they get on camera, they get super serious with you. And Matt Meekins down at Spring Westfield was always that for me. I knew for a fact that he liked me. We would talk. We would have a good time. And the moment we got on camera, he acted like he wanted nothing to do with me. And then he would walk away and he'd be like, I got you again, pickle. So those are always fun.
That is, yeah. So now I will say on the college side, the other thing, I was very intimidated to talk with Jimbo Fisher when we did the 2018 cover shoot. But he is I will say this, and certainly he is a product of how things are going on the field. And, like, this was at the very beginning of his tenure at A&M because we put him on the cover right after he got hired. But in that conversation, he's very affable. I understand, like, he is. I know there are people who aren't big fans of Jimbo Fisher. I will say this. He's a charming fella. In person, when you talk with him, he's a charming fella. I can see
He gives Gary Joseph vibes.
I can see why people like him. You know what I mean? I can see why people like him. And Gary Joseph, I'll just crack the code for anybody on Gary Joseph. I'll just giving out interview tips for all the coaches. For Gary Joseph, like, I was like, you go and you're viewing him as, like, football coach. Oh, my gosh, football coach. The best thing to do is just view them as, like, person. And so, like, I remember, like, I was sitting down interviewing him at coaching school, and my first question was about his grandkids.
Oh, he
and it was just like,
up about his granddaughters.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to talk to you about my granddaughters.
Yep.
Stuff like that. So, anyway, that's more than you want to know.
I got lucky that they were running around during my interview one time after they beat Buda Johnson.
Probably Buda Hayes. 70
to whatever. So
Hayes.
He was already in a good mood. But the granddaughters running around, I was like, hey, girls. And he was like,
these are my friends.
Yeah.
We can talk about them. Like, the fact we were in 32 belly, like, we can talk about that if you want. But, like, more importantly, let's talk about this.
Look how cute these kids are.
All right. You got one more?
I do. If you were given $100,000 with a caveat that you had to spend it in 7 days, what would you buy?
Ooh.
A house.
What I would
not a $100,000 house,
like,
but I would put it towards
the spend it means don't, like, it's no, like, I have to trade it for goods and services.
I guess let's keep it from out of being like how, like, oh, putting it towards a house. Like, let's take out the logical side of what you could use.
See, because what I would do is I would take the $100,000 and I would, like, I'd do something super boring with it, like invest it.
Yeah.
Or, like, I'd go and I'd put it, like, in my kids' college funds.
Yeah, exactly.
And just, like, they'd be sad.
Yeah, I would take it and I would put it directly into my savings account.
Right, yeah. And that's spending.
That's spending.
I don't have it with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what I do, or I'd go, like, put it toward my mortgage.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Just, like, be done, like, not be done, but, make a nice chunk out of it.
Yeah.
If I had to spend it, though, I would want to go on like, one of the things I'd want to do. This is a Brewster's Millions situation. Are you familiar with the film Brewster's Millions? Brewster's Millions is a film starring Richard Pryor from the 80s. There's old people in the comments who are like, yes, I love Brewster's Millions. In which I haven't seen it in a minute, but I want to say he's a baseball player. He's given $1 million, but he has to spend it in 30 days. And this is in the 80s, so $1 million is, like, way too much money. He has to spend it, and then at the end he cannot have anything to his name or something like that, but he can't give it away. Like, it's something, there's some sort of weird, like, thing with that, but it's the gist of, or it's like this is the thrust of Brewster's Millions, which is a really good film that I need to go revisit now. Richard Pryor's really funny. I want to say Willy Wonka's in it too.
Oh, all right.
That might be true. Anyway, where's that John Candy?
Man,
who's
we're
in Brewster's Millions?
Just off the charts. What would you spend your $100,000 on?
Brewster's Millions, 1985. John Candy. It wasn't. It wasn't the guy, but yeah, Rick Moranis is in it too. Okay. One of the things I would do, I think this is the easy play. The easy play is like you go on a super kick-ass vacation.
Yeah.
For like, now, because here's the thing. Do I have to spend it, like, could I book this for like 3 months in advance?
Yeah.
Like, could I just be like, we are going to Bali.
Like
for
now.
a month.
Yeah.
Right? And just like, it's all going to be great, but it's going to be in April. Because like, I can't go to Bali for a month right now.
Yeah.
Like, that would be bad for my long-term career. But that's what I would do, is I would probably book just like a super ritzy vacation.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. If I had to spend it on something that, like, do I absolutely need it? No. But would it be cool to have, like...
Hang glider.
Correct. Like a boat. I think it would be cool to spend it on,
You are
like...
boat person.
Yeah, but that's kind of one of those things. Like, if I'm not talking about doing an investment property or investing the money or whatever, and even, like, a car, like, okay, I would rather have a boat that I could keep for 15 years than a car that I would keep for at max like 10 or 12, you know?
Monty Brewster is a minor league baseball player. And long story short, he is he's gonna get left a $300 million fortune. But he can either get $1 million right now, or he can inherit the entire estate by spending $30 million in 30 days. Yeah, and all that fun stuff. And so, yeah, but he may not own any assets that aren't already his at the end of 30 days. So, there you go. So he has to do it without acquiring things. Which, again, just go on 30 kick-ass vacations.
Yeah.
Like $1 million vacations. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Anyway, it's a Brewster's Millions situation. Go watch Brewster's Millions, starring Richard Pryor and
basically
John
got
Candy.
the full synopsis at this point.
It's a good movie. Anyway, that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Reminder, Texas football tonight. Tonight, 7:30 p.m. On YouTube and on TexasLive.com for whip around coverage, including like Winsboro, Pottsboro. Y'all got some haters.
Winsboro, Pottsboro, Hitchcock, Columbus.
Like the biggest games in the state.
Yeah, literally.
Like not over exaggerating here. The biggest games in the state.
Yeah.
Make sure you're watching it on YouTube or on TexasLive.com for free. So make sure you go check that out.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.